Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Third competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound, up and in! 1 point more to go!
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Game day, game night, game afternoon for Oregon softball. The Ducks are going to move up that game time to 1:30. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour with the weather in the forecast tonight, Oregon softball moving up against Lindenwood from 6 o'clock until, or I should say up to 1:30. Ducks, Lindenwood, 1:30 on the Oregon live stream. Also on KWVA. Game originally scheduled for 6 o'clock, moved up due to weather. Now Oregon baseball still scheduled to play tonight. Oregon State is the opponent. Oh, man. I love when the Ducks and Beavs get together. This is going to be a good day. 7 o'clock, just after 7 o'clock, first pitch at PK Park. Oregon State. Jay Stoffel, an Oregonian himself, gets the ball in the matchup with the Beavs. Really looking forward to it tonight. 6:45, the pregame show with myself and with Jordan Brenner coming up here tonight. Also this morning, Oregon football back on the spring practice field. It's just the practice field. It's in the spring, so we call it the spring practice field. I don't know. Marcus Harper, Jeff Bossa, Troy Franklin all met with the media today, and defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoi met with the media today. So a big baseball preview, a big softball preview, and our guy Ethan Hartley from the Oregon Pit Crew is here in the studio. Updates on the Pit Crew. Things are changing for the Oregon Pit Crew. The Pit Crew is going to be like 20,000 deep, right? He said hopefully. How many students are in the student body at the U of O right now? Like 20,000, right? What's the enrollment at the University of Oregon right now? University of Oregon enrollment. 23,634. That was in 2016. I got to get you an updated number. The Pit Crew will be 23,634 deep next year. Ethan's like, yeah, dude, I do not know what I signed up for. Some updates on the Oregon Pit Crew, though, coming up. All right, it's baseball game day. We got a ton of interviews, so I'm just going to get out of the way and let you hear a little bit of what baseball thinks and let you hear a little bit of what Tosh Lupoi thought of practice. The Oregon defensive coordinator met with the media following practice this morning. Here's Tosh Lupoi.
Defense most improved or different in terms of talent and depth from last season?
Well, it's always awesome to have the opportunity to bring aboard some additions. You know, we obviously coming aboard a season ago, and great love and respect for all the young men that we inherited, and we were fortunate to come here in mid-January and get started. You know, for the most part, we went to work with those young men and did our best to improve them. And now it's certainly exciting year two to see the culture really start to unfold, guys buying in, having a true off-season together, and then of course having some solid talent acquisition that we're excited about, both young players and portal players to come aboard here, and you know, hopefully continue to improve.
Who takes on some of those on-field communication roles that Noah had, that some guys in the secondary had, even in the front seven a little bit? Who takes on some of those spots for you at the linebacker spot in the secondary? Yeah,
I mean, we're going to make it more of a position responsibility. So some of the guys that played with us last season, and certainly some guys that are competing now. So more so going to you know, start completely clean and fresh. Nobody here has a guaranteed job, and we're going to be competing every single day for it, you know, and try to improve every single day.
I always hear year one to year two, there's marked improvement. Where do you feel like marked improvement can be expected for your group this year?
Yeah, I truly believe everywhere. I think at the end of the day, awesome to be a part of a 10-win season and, to have that senior class go out the way they did with a victory at the end. However, starting with me, we have tons of improvement and things that we can get better on. We're really attacking. So again, the benefit of having a self-scout together and really attack those areas. Obviously, didn't play well enough pass defense, didn't affect the passer well enough, made a major jump and improvement in run defense, red zone defense, short yardage defense, a lot of things that we try to attack and know that we're not going to probably master everything in year one. However, we can continue to climb, to improve, and that's what we're doing right now.
When you did do that self-scout, why wasn't the defense able to achieve more? Why weren't the results there as much as you guys wanted them to be? When you have a first-round pick at corner, when you have probably 4 or 5 guys who can go in the draft, why weren't the results there?
Man, that would be awesome if we had 5 guys go in the draft. I think, there's you can start, from how we're attacking the run, how we're defending the pass, looking at the schematics we're utilizing with the personnel we have. I think that's always a sign of a good coach and staff if, regardless of your personnel, you're utilizing them in the best way. So really looking ourselves in the mirror, making sure that we're doing that. Continuing to build the culture, have a whole off season together. I think you're either going to get worse or better. We're not going to maintain and be in between. So we're going to highlight the things that we improved a lot here, and then really attack the things that we hadn't. That's what we're doing right now.
What are the qualities that you liked in Jordan Burch and your recruitment of him, and just what can he do to this defense?
Yeah, I think he obviously has some special qualities, some measurables there. I think as he adapts to the system, and he's been studying hard. He's been working hard to do that. As he gets more confident, and within the system, I think that's where he's going to be playing at his best, and as he adapts to the schematics and what we're asking him to do. He's a versatile guy that you can move him around, and excited about his future.
What's been your early experience working with Chris Hampton and his addition to the staff?
Yeah, I think excited and pumped to have Coach Hamp. He's done an awesome job. I think there's a lot of similarities with the system that we've ran that they did both, at the last place he was at and in his past. So I think the adaptability was really smooth there, and I think he's done a great job of holding guys accountable, coming in and coaching with great effort and demanding a lot out of the guys, and excited about that group to continue and improve.
You had Jordan, and you also had a lot of young guys on the edge in particular. Do you feel like you have the volume of proven guys and the high gear players you guys look for on the edge at this point?
Well, obviously Mace has played a lot of good football here. He's the leader. He's one of the leaders up front. And you got Dorless that's played some quality football here. I think we're competing every single day. So I think these guys, it's clear to them that nobody has, a role or starting role identified yet. That's what this process is all about. However, I think we're going to respect the fact that you get a guy like Mace that's, played a lot of quality football, and really challenging him, to improve, and Dorless to improve as well, to, try to take the game from good to great.
What did Justin and Connor bring in that inside backer room?
Yeah, it's been awesome to see that group rise, so I think there's some opportunities there that, again, starting from a clean slate, these guys are attacking it with the right mentality, and demeanor, and studying, getting the system down, and just, again, we're only assessing off of one day of pads. This is our second day, and I haven't watched the film yet, but seeing the way the guys, the physicality they brought from that group, was satisfied, is not the case, but pleased the way they did that.
What type of value does Tysheen bring to this defense? What'd you like from him, bringing him from the portal? Tysheen
Taishim, yeah. So again, young man just showed up, so I know one thing, he's not going to fear contact. He's told me that already after seeing him out there for 2 days. I think he has a versatile skill set, so he's somebody that can move around in the secondary. He's really played dang near every position back there. So, we got some ground to make up because he hasn't been around here, but I know he's going to attack what we ask of him.
It's often hard to come into a new room, new environment, a new team, to get acclimated to the system. Have you seen any of the newcomers just really taking that leadership role, any teaching role, or how hard is that for those new guys to get to?
Yeah, I think we're trying to do our best to make it clear that anybody can lead here, so as far as opening that door first for these fellas and then challenging them every day. So our environment is going to be one of focused on a relentless effort, attacking the ball, and playing for each other. And that's what we're going to ask of our newcomers thus far. They've done a great job at answering that.
That's Tosh Lupoi, the Oregon defensive coordinator, meeting with the media after practice this morning. Oh, man. Spring football, I'll tell you, it was fun today to see the Ducks go through some team periods, ramp up. You see some of those big plays. You see the guys just getting after each other. Like, one thing goes one way, another goes a different direction. You're like, oh, feels like football again. It was pretty fun to be out there at practice again. Quick timeout. We've got more from spring football. Marcus Harper, Jeffrey Bassa, Troy Franklin. But, look, it's baseball game day. It's Ducks and Beavs tonight. We're going to talk about that when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Coming up tonight, Oregon State, PK Park, 7:05, first pitch. Oh, man. I love these matchups every year. And look, I know, I've looked at the forecast. What's the latest forecast? I know that there's rain in the forecast, but it's always sunny and 75 at PK Park. And just talking to Mark Wazakowski a little while ago for the Toyota Coaches Corner, he's fired up. And I love this. Waz even said this when I asked him. He said, look, I'd be lying to you if I gave you the coaching cliche of it's just another game. This does mean more. You're playing to be the best team in your state. Waz embraces that. Team embraces that. But you also can't let that dictate your play. Because as soon as you do that, I'm using Waz's words here, you don't play within yourself, right? You, in that regard, the opponent shouldn't matter. You're always playing against the game. You know, that's the coaching mentality. But I love that Waz doesn't just say that. He says, no, this means something. Because it does. It's Oregon State. It's Ducks and Beavs. I hope that there is a lot of green and yellow at PK Park this weekend. Big series against Oregon State. Jay Stoffel, an Oregonian, gets the ball tonight for the Ducks, and Oregon has won 10 straight. Tanner Smith continuing to rewrite the career record books. A lot of good things going for the Ducks. One of the cool things for the Ducks has been their international roster. A lot of Canadians. Sabine Ceballos from Puerto Rico. Riku Nishida from Japan. Well, Sabine Ceballos, after the win on Tuesday against Portland, he talked with the media about hitting that 3-run home run to get things going. After that, he didn't see a strike. He got walked 3 times. Well, you hit a 3-run home run that hasn't landed yet. I understand why. But it's also really cool because Sabine Ceballos, his family's going to be in town for this weekend series. That's a long trip for the Ceballos family. I am so looking forward to hearing them cheer on their son at PK Park tonight. Sabine Ceballos meeting with the media following the Portland win, which was the 10th in a row for the Ducks, and now getting ready for the Beavs at 7 o'clock tonight. Sabine Ceballos.
How did it feel to hit that first home run?
It was good. I got Riku, actually Kobe Shade and Drew Cowling base. Just get after the pitch, you know. I was sitting on fastball in that pitch. Feels good.
After homering that first at bat, I think you drew 3 walks. What was your approach after that?
So you just stay to the middle, you know. It's just like a process we have, you know. No matter you go in yard, the first AB, you back to your work again and trust your process and trust your work, you know. So just back to that work.
How do you feel about your swing right now?
So my swing is actually my best point right now. Can I be like everything I swing, I barrel, you know?
Yeah.
So, like I say, hitting in between Cowley, Tanner Smith, and J-Dub make me feel comfortable in the play too. It's just like they have to throw me to just don't face that guys too, so my swing feels good.
When you know that they have to throw the ball to you, yet you take 3 walks, you know, what's your approach when you do that? Because you're waiting for a pitch, but they're still not even throwing you.
Yeah, just like I say, every time I'm making the box, like I was in the box, I try to make damage. Is I don't see the pitch to make damage, I just take it. Usually I get in counts. Is they don't make the good pitch by now if they be, I take the walk, you know.
Where do you think you can improve upon from here, especially going into this Oregon State series?
So just keep doing what I'm doing, you know. Nothing big. Just keep working hard. We have a nice practice coming tomorrow. Just keep doing what I'm doing, you know. Don't try to be like the hero of the team or something like that. Just keep working, you know. Like, just try to be my best.
You guys lost 7-1 in the first game of the Washington State series, and since then you scored 118 runs in the last 10 games over this 10-game winning streak. I guess just what's been different over this stretch?
So, obviously, we get like a hard meeting after we lost against Washington State. It's like a deep meeting with Coach Martyr. After that, we decide to play together. Before that meeting, we just play for each other. We don't play for each other. We just play to like try to win. Right now, we don't care about the score. We just play free to go, you know, and like happy all the time in the field. Even as we get down in the first inning, like you can feel in the dugout. We know like we can still win that game, you know. So right now we're patient and just don't be afraid of nobody.
Defensively, Jacob Walshy has made a couple good plays over there at first and picking balls recently. Just how nice is it to have him on the other side of your throws?
It was great. It was great. Actually, have Dom on first. Actually, we have Dom the past 3 days. Actually, Dom make good plays too. Feel pretty comfortable, you know. Sometimes we get rain in Eugene, as you guys know. We just like be comfortable to throw the ball anywhere. You know, you have a guy who's gonna cut it, so feel so good about it.
Sabine Ceballos, one of the things you'll hear coming up on the Toyota Coaches Corner tonight when you tune into the pregame show, Sabine plays with such an energy. You don't necessarily hear it when he's talking to the media. He's very calm, very collected. Mark Wasikowski said that he's had more comments from umpires just about like the things that Sabine Ceballos does on the diamond than he has maybe about any other player. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, people notice. You know, it's not just like me who's around him every day. It's people that are there once. And it's like, oh, man, this guy, This guy's got it, whatever it is. One of the biggest competitors on the roster, Logan Mercado. He's going to get the ball in the Friday game, game 2 of the series for the Ducks. And Logan has had a couple outings this year after moving into the weekend rotation where, don't get me wrong, he's pitched well and he's competed, but giving up some hits. And I didn't think the defense helped him all that much last weekend. Ducks had 3 errors when Logan Mercado was on the hill, a couple other miscues as well. If Logan Mercado gets the strong defense behind him, he is such a competitor. I'm telling you, like, that guy's not going to get out-competed. And you know that Logan Mercado, he's been around this rivalry now a little bit. You know that he's excited, for lack of a better phrase, to take on the Beavs on Saturday. Logan Mercado, after the victory over Portland, he met with the media getting ready for this matchup with the Beavs that starts tonight at 7 o'clock. Here's Logan Mercado.
Logan, I kind of like 5 cheers from you today. Is that a little bit over or under? What do you think you did?
Over. Over. I feel like I was in the charting section in the dugout today, but, you know, I was still being loud out there. You know, try to give energy in any way I can when I'm not playing, so.
How important is it for you guys as a bullpen group or, you know, or starters that aren't pitching that day to provide some energy off the bench for your offense or defense?
Extremely. We take pride in that on our off days, you know, when we're in the dugout, and we know we're going to be there for the whole game. You know, we try to bring as much energy as possible just to get the ball rolling and just maintain it throughout the whole game, which is really important for us. You know, we always try to find a role for us, you know, when we're not pitching. So it's extremely important to, you know, just keep consistent energy throughout the game because you got to do something, you know. So.
How wild was that Saturday game for you where you don't have your best outing and then the team makes such a great comeback?
I'm just happy we won. You know, after a start like that, just getting every unlucky break that you could imagine, you know, going down 10 in the first 2 innings, you know. And it was funny because, like, the feeling in the dugout, we never felt like we were out of it, especially with that offense, you know. You know, there was no stress, and everybody just kind of like, all right, we got a lot of baseball left, let's just chip away. So the fact that we could make that comeback, you know, in that park, you know, versus that team is pretty special.
And what did you think went wrong in your performance, whether it was luck or just missing spots?
I think I was, in terms of pitching, you know, I was hitting my spots. I felt like they just got a lot of lucky breaks, you know, jam shots over a shortstop, you know. Defensive guys couldn't make plays in the first couple innings. You know, we had 3 errors in the first 2 innings, and we ended up with 3 errors, you know, in the entire game. So, you know, I feel like, you know, yeah, I could have done a better job probably setting the tempo, but I felt like we made up for that in the offense, you know, once we woke up. You know, it was pretty cool.
And how do you just kind of shake that off and, you know, get back to it for the Oregon State series?
Well, it's in the past. You know, I live one day at a time. You know, I'm pretty good at that, trying to just live one pitch at a time, one day at a time. So, you know, preparing for the Oregon State is all that's on my mind now. You know, not stats, not anything of that nature. You know, it's just preparing for this weekend to the best of my abilities.
Have you dived into any Oregon State tape yet?
Nope, we were just focused on Portland today. Tomorrow we'll tackle Oregon State, but, you know, today was Portland and, you know, came out on top. So tomorrow we're going to tackle Oregon State and prepare the right way and, you know, we'll get ready for a big series.
After the Washington State series, that road trip, a lot of guys talked about how it felt like you guys were closer as a team overall. The second road trip against Arizona, you guys sweep. Do you feel like you're even more closer, or do you feel like that the remnants from that first Washington State series are still on this team?
I think just the culture just kind of came together through that Washington State series, you know. Had a lot of things to change after that first game on Friday. You know, I had a big talk Saturday and made some changes, did some things, you know, and that really came together. We're just going to keep the ball rolling. We're just going to keep going downhill as a team, getting closer in the locker room, getting closer in the weight room, just getting after it. And as long as we stick to our routines as a team, you know, we're going to be good.
And 10 wins in a row now. Just how fun is it to be in the dugout and on the team during a stretch like that?
The energy is unreal. It's awesome. I love just being around. Even if I wasn't playing, you know, if I was a guy who wasn't playing this year or haven't played yet, you know, I'd be having the time of my life in that dugout. You know, the energy is awesome. We play some games in the dugout between innings. You know, it's a fun time, and, you know, just being around all the guys, learning their stories, seeing what they're capable of out in the field. So when they make a great play, you know, everybody goes nuts, and it's just everybody for everybody. It's pretty cool.
before the season started, I asked you to compare last year's lineup to this year's lineup. You said that this year's lineup was better. Is this the type of offensive display that you guys, albeit slow start, but now it's kind of kicking into gear? Is this what you anticipated from what you would see in this offense?
Probably not what I think they've exceeded expectations. In terms of what they've been doing, I think a lot of records are going to be broken by the end of the season too, which, a lot of records last year were broken too. And I think we're going to break those records again, which is with this offense, just the persistence that they have, the clutchness, the togetherness that we all got together. And I think everybody's head is in the right spot right now. And if we can just keep it going, we'll be all right.
He faced them all throughout the fall. He faced them heading into the season, thought the offense was better this year than last year. Last year set a bunch of team records. Logan Mercado knows. He knows. I'll tell you what, this offense is clicking right now. Okay, the offense is clicking. Ducks have won 10 in a row. Oregon's getting 20 hits in 2 of those games, and the 9 runs as part of that 10-game winning streak is the 3rd lowest run total. They're scoring double-digit runs left and right. You're on a hitting streak like that. 6 of the 10 are double-digit runs. So, now what? Let's go, Ducks! Keep it up against the Beavs tonight, huh? 7 o'clock first pitch, 6:45 pregame show. We're going to hear more from Oregon football coming up, but when we come back, time to talk a little pit crew. They're going to be at baseball tonight. Are you? Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes! So much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Ethan Hartley is joining us in the Country Financial Studio. Okay, now some of you are probably who are the dedicated viewers of the show. If you ever are pinpointing which interns are with us each day, you've seen Ethan sitting next to Scott running the show. He's also one of our Quack Video interns and also part of the leadership team for the Oregon Pit Crew. Ethan, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Do you feel different sitting in that chair versus sitting in the dark chair over near Scott?
I don't think so. I think it's I definitely got like a sense of familiarity. I mean, it's different, especially because of the lighting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's as bright sitting here.
And you did the rookie move. You looked at the lights. Now you can't see anything, can you?
No, I can.
Oh, that's good. The lights are, I'll tell you what, in any TV studio, I always tell everybody, you never look directly at the lights. What you do is you look above the lights. That adjusts your eyes so that you don't squint. Don't try it. It's going to make you squint no matter what you do.
I don't want to find out. Okay,
so there's a tradition. Have you practiced?
I have thought about what I would say because I know this has been a while in the making.
Okay. The 2-minute life story. We're going to talk pit crew. We're going to get there. But we have a tradition to keep on the show. The 2-minute life story of Ethan Hartley. Go.
Born to two amazing parents, Lori and Steve Hartley. I'm from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, about 25 minutes outside of Philadelphia, so I'm a big Philadelphia sports fan. I grew up in
– been a tough year for you.
You know what? As part of it, I'll say in the last calendar year, I've gone to the Super Bowl and a World Series game. I don't think there's a lot of people that can say that. I had season tickets to the Sixers in high school, so that's where my main familiarity of sports came from. But I'd say I'm pretty knowledgeable across all the Big Four and some other stuff as well. The Masters are on. I'm trying to understand that a little more. Played basketball in high school. Only 1 year for the team. I hated it so much. I went straight to the rec league and won a championship there, which was way more satisfying. Yeah, essentially like going to the G League, I'd say. Oh God, scrambling all over the place. I'd say I chose Oregon mainly just to be in a sports kind of atmosphere, but I applied all over the country. I just wanted to see somewhere new while getting an education at the same time. That was mainly the big reason, I'd say. So yeah, I end up here. I'm part of KWVA. Not as much anymore. It was mainly big in high school, as you already mentioned. I'm a Quack video intern. I'm in here a decent amount of time, and I am now the vice president of the Oregon Pit Crew, and I'll end it right there.
Minute 28.57.
Oh, so short.
I mean, but you know what, though? How old are you, though?
22.
Yeah, see, like, I get people that are in their 40s that are given 90-second life stories. They should be able to fill 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So you've got another 30 seconds in front of you, right? That's the goal.
Okay.
It's the goal here moving forward. All right, the reason that we wanted to have you on, because now that basketball season is over, and the Pit Crew, we talked about this a little bit, at least I have, over the course of the year, and I'd be curious your perspective, Ethan. Y'all weren't in the building. Then it was like the entire student body. It had been a long time since anybody had been in the building. Some of you hadn't been in the building despite being on campus for years, going to the venues with the way the pandemic was. So now the Pit Crew's building back up. Tell us a little bit about the process of building back up and what your experience has been like as a student, because you're one of the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would say it just kind of started with, there were three of us who essentially, there was almost like nothing. It was one person who like claimed themselves as the president, I would say, but there was not a lot going on because it was, almost a full calendar year where no one was allowed in Autzen Stadium, or really any venue. So it's like, what do you do as the Pit Crew if you're that case? So that between that and not really knowing what to do is just three of us who kind of picked it up and we're like, let's just run with it. We kind of have, we know there's resources, there's an established history, so let's go and seek out kind of, what there is. And I think we've done a really good job of laying at least a decent foundation through the first year for all the new people that we have recruited, which was essentially two guys who did that. I was kind of around, but I won't claim credit for being at the tables on the lawn at the EMU and doing stuff like that. And I'd say I would say the list is maybe like 120, but I would say consistently it's 60 people. So I'm very excited to see what I'd say about 20 really dedicated people could bring in if two people can bring in 120.
Student organizations that I was a part of when I was at Oregon, KWVA, Duck TV, Emerald, right? Like all of the media organizations around student journalism. Pit Crew's no different. There's like a carryover from year to year, right? Because it's like in college sports, you're built in to have roughly 25% roster turnover every year just because of graduation. Well, the student groups are no different, and so like the connection from year to year is so important. Like some of the best things that I learned in all those groups were from seniors when I was a freshman. Well, you guys didn't have that opportunity in a lot of your groups. KWVA, very similar, right? How have you guys combated that as a student? Like you, your colleagues, your friends, like I don't even know. Like how have you guys handled that?
I would say kind of just going with the flow and just finding. I think at KWVA, for example, when like right after COVID, in fall 2020, or 2021 actually, there were like 10 of us, and we just kind of filled the holes of what was necessary. They have like they call it the steps. I didn't even have that because they needed someone so bad to do the Arizona game that they were just like, you do one game and then you'll go right in. So I think it's kind of just the same thing of how like, my position beforehand was the social media coordinator, and I kind of ran all with the social media. But then, there was one girl, her name is Anna. She's amazing. She's the new social media coordinator. She would be at games more often than me because I was, working a lot of them. So that kind of turned into like, hey, you can do the live game content, and you just kind of roll with it. You just kind of fill the plugs. And Patrick kind of talked about that with the kind of different committees that we feel, fit what's best for the pit crew. And we've just kind of been, again, just kind of going with the flow and how things seem to work with what's best.
Patrick was on the show about a month ago now and talked about, the development, the growth of the pit crew. And, I got to say, from my chair at Matthew Knight Arena, I'm sitting right across from y'all. I'm sitting right across from you. And the interaction, the cheers, the way that you guys were from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, I say well done. It was fun for me to sort of get back to like the 2019s, and those years before, because there are some traditions and some things that have gone on in the pit crew for a long time. Ethan Hartley joining us from pit crew. So what's going on? I mean, what are you guys up to now that you're in basketball off season, getting ready for football, but a lot of spring sports to go to?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely, especially last year, that was when the former president graduated. So that was when things were completely hands off of like, we didn't even no one really showed up to spring athletic events just because there was no real leader. We had to almost start with, well, like, who do we go to like for anything really? Because we know like there's an established history with the pit crew. Like obviously there was something beforehand.
Right.
So it was a lot of time of that, but I would say now it's kind of a balance where, we're trying to get to as many of the spring sporting events as possible. Obviously it's a little hard because there's 3 games. So we're trying to find some sort of approach to bring the most to either one game or, because we don't have the kind of numbers to get a consistent student section at all 3 games in a baseball weekend. So that kind of transitions to our focus. Well, how do we get there? And then that comes with, probably just as big of a freshman class as last year, and I know that was a record high, and getting in there and those kind of events, and just kind of what can we do that makes us stand out to those people to make us want to join the pit crew, because essentially really the pit crew is kind of like, I would say, the most fun club on campus. Like, there's not really a lot of responsibility unless you're a leadership role. You go to sporting events and
you get to be fans.
Yeah, literally, like that's all it is.
Well, and you all set the tone. I mean, right? Like fans agree with me, right? Like the student section drives in any venue, Oregon beyond. The student section drives what things look like. You guys obviously well aware of that.
Oh yeah, and absolutely. I think part of that has been reestablishing some of the traditions that we've done prior. I know Patrick has been in a lot of contact with former pit crew presidents, and that's kind of where the idea of trying to bring back the 3v3 tournament has come from, just because that's been something that they've done in the past, and it is. Yeah, just something that we're trying to reestablish, but also, I guess, put like our own little spin on it, just because, times are different and you have to try and keep up with that as much as possible.
So 3v3 basketball tournament, we talked about that about a month ago with Patrick. What's the update?
I would say the update is we're trying to get more athletes involved as referees. There have definitely been some loops with that, but I believe that was a tradition in the past, and even if it wasn't, I think that's something that would bring a lot of people out. I would say that's kind of been at the standpoint right now, just kind of other things, like just kind of, what kind of resources we need for stuff like that. But we're still targeting, I believe, like early May, right after the spring game, because then we can tap into football players if they're interested as well.
Yeah. They'll never blow the whistle, right? No.
I've kind of thought about it, like who would be the best. Obviously, basketball would be the best, but then how would other different players from different sports respond as a referee for basketball?
I'm telling you, no one's blowing the whistle. It's going to be you guys just go play, Like,
I'm all for that.
You throw an elbow, maybe you're going to get a whistle. But, physical game, win that rec league title.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Ethan Hartley joining us. What else should fans know, Ethan? I mean, pit crew, you guys still churning, looking for new members for students. So students, here's the call. Pit crew is a pretty fun place to hang out we think.
Most fun club on campus.
Yeah, well, I can't argue that. What else should fans know? Anything?
I think just community involvement is was kind of what the next part of we're trying to get into. Obviously, reestablishing the brand, I would say, is the biggest part of what we're doing, and that just comes with bringing in more people and filling in more roles of what we think we need. But I think our next step is definitely community involvement and being bigger to something than just the university. I think when you have those kind of people, like almost 200 consistent members maybe, or even more. I mean, that's just a number I'm thinking out of the top of my head. But I think from there you can definitely get more community involvement and more community service maybe. I mean, that's more of a preliminary idea, but I think that's kind of, at least in my mind, the long-term plan for Pit Crew is just making it bigger than the school. And I mean, I know the university makes up a big part of the Eugene community, but I think that next step is kind of what we're thinking.
I dig it. Community involvement in any organization is important. Everybody wants me to ask you a question that I don't even know if you know the answer to. You're smiling because you probably know the answer. When's the next iteration of the Pit Crew shoe coming out, and how do people get their hands on it?
I have asked. I want the Pit Crew, I want the Pit Crew J's back so bad because I trust me, I do. Like, I mean, I want a pair as the VP. Like, I feel I've done my time to get a pair, but I mean, I think I looked it up because the 3s have the logo on them, and they haven't been. I think this came out in 2011 or 2013. So
you're gonna know better than me.
It's been a while. I remember I looked it up. It's one of those 2 years. And I want them back probably just as much as anyone else because
it's a big giveaway, right?
Yeah, they're on the internet for like $5,000 now.
That's ridiculous.
Like, yeah.
Why would you sell those? I'll get down now. I'm done.
Hey, sometimes people
I get
need
it,
the money,
but like, just
I would never sell mine.
That's right.
Never.
That's right. Speaking of that, pan down. Ethan came dressed for success today in the studio. Look at these J's that Ethan's got. Show them up. Come on. Show them to the camera. I mean, well done, Ethan. Well done.
They got the logo on the back right there.
I mean,
the duck on the inside.
See,
that's
you joined the Pit Crew, and these are the things.
Oh, these did not come from joining the Pit Crew. These did not come from joining the Pit Crew. I spent my hard-earned dollar on these after my first term. First term in college, you complete it.
And they only come out of the box for something like this.
Yeah, that's especially now.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, you'd never sell them. Ethan Hartley joining us from the Pit Crew, also one of our Quack Video interns. What are you working this weekend? We got tons of events.
I believe I'm doing replay for, I think, softballs on Friday. Yes, because that might be a doubleheader. I saw that with the weather. I'm working. Is there a baseball game on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working that.
San Francisco.
Yes, and then women's lacrosse.
Nice.
I'll be there for that.
See?
Yeah.
A true Renaissance man.
Yeah, I mean, I sign up for every single event because, I only have classes on Monday, Wednesday. That's the perks of being a senior.
Spring term, senior year.
Yep.
Love it. Well, hey, thanks for what you and the rest of the Pit Crew have done. It's been awesome for me to see it just kind of have some energy behind it. And, look, there was a 2-year period where you guys weren't in there.
Yeah.
Really?
Even when games were back for the first season, I mean, there were 8 of us max. Yeah, and we were just kind of like, doing
what
whatever.
do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it up. Keep it up. Ethan Hartley joining us from the Pit Crew. You'll also be watching his replays on various live streams this weekend.
Yeah.
So good job, Ethan. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having
when
me.
we come back, a little bit more from Oregon football, spring practice, another day today. And I'll tell you what, it looked like football today. I'll tell you what I mean when I come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Duck baseball coming up tonight. Oregon softball is just getting underway. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, they moved up their game from 6 o'clock tonight due to weather, playing at 1:30 this afternoon against Lindenwood. I got to tell you what, baseball tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Just these are the games you get up for. Thursday, quicker turnaround. There's an adrenaline rush getting ready for this. Oh, I love it. It's going to be fun. Meanwhile, Oregon football coming off the practice field today. Jeffrey Bossa, a guy who he's going to be one of the leaders of this defense. And Jeff Bossa met with the media after practice this morning.
Went into the number change this year?
Back to my high school days. Yeah, 2 was the number that I started using when I first started playing football, so I just want to get back in that mode.
Do you feel an onus to, you're already starting, you're already playing a lot, really productive guy, but with Noah gone, do you feel an onus to be that much more of a on-field, not just leader, but the communication aspect of the linebacker position? You feel like that's on you now that much more?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I'd for sure have to say, even with playing with Noah, I always seen myself as that leader, and even with him being gone, new guys coming in, I feel like that's an even better opportunity for me to, be more vocal, lead by action, lead by example as well.
The front seven changed a lot of personnel, but your room specifically, what has Justin and Connor brought from veteran guys, played a whole bunch before? Justin's coming off an injury, but what have they brought to the room?
I think Justin's brought like a lot of smartness and physicality so far. He's really proved to me that he can really ball. Especially coming in from Iowa. They had a good defense at Iowa as well. So, and then Connor too. I think those dudes are hand in hand, work together, and hard workers.
Looks like you bulked up a little bit this offseason. You put on weight. Do you know how much you put on?
Yeah, I think I put on about like 15 pounds right now. 15 pounds. So yeah, just trying to maintain right now.
How is that going to allow you to play differently than you did in the past?
Even more physical to my game. I say dominant in the run.
Are you just trying to maintain? Are you trying to add more weight before fall camp?
Right now, I'll probably just say maintain throughout spring practice, and then if we'll see how my weight is after spring ball, and then go from there.
Is it difficult? Is that hard to bulk up for you?
I wouldn't say a little bit, just a little bit. Me coming in as a safety, and then weight slowly going up year by year, but it's been a pretty easy process.
You have like a go-to meal, anything like that helped?
Go-to meal, chicken, rice, and potatoes. Can't go wrong with it.
What are some things that you feel like this spring you really work on that's going to help pay off in the fall?
I'd for sure have to say, since I'm a guy that likes to get a lot in the film room, I'd for sure have to say, just understanding the run a little bit more. That's something I feel like I can add to my game that would really, take me to that next level to be one of the top linebackers in the
Do you feel like spring kind of gives you the time to really break down more film, whereas in season you're kind of working on like next opponent?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
If I know you're going into year 3, but you play for 2 coordinators, and that's not crazy by any stretch, but there were some guys here that played 3 coordinators in 3 years last season, 4 and 5 years, the case of guys like Steve or Addison. How much did that play in your assessing your own perspective in terms of just the results weren't always there for you guys in defense last season? Was some of that just it's hard for some guys? I mean, I'm not making excuses, but just some guys, like I say, we're in three systems in 3 years, or 4 and 5 years. That's challenging.
It's for sure challenging, and I feel like, you know, coaches are always going to come and go. So I feel like, for a mental standpoint, it's also a good thing because, you know, learning more different systems and learning how other coaches coach, I feel like can also help to the player as well. And then, you know, we actually improved in total defense than we were from 2 years ago. So, yeah.
Year 1 to year 2 of the Lanning, Lupoi defense, how have the points of emphasis changed in spring camp? Or are they the same? The things that they're...
The standard's always going to be held high. You know, those two guys compete. You know, they're always going to go in there with the same energy every day, and they're always going to, you know, want the best out of every single one of our players. So, you know, the standard's always going to be set high, and, you know, from our stats last year, you know, we're not satisfied with the stats last year, so it's always going to be room for improvement to get 1% better every day.
Is there anything specific that they've asked you to do to be better this year? Anything that they've told you need to improve on?
Not a whole lot. It's not like little things specifically that they told me that I need to be better at, but, you know, just as a whole, looking at myself in the mirror, you know, I've, you know, diced up my game and seen what I can get better at as well to help the coaches and help the team.
Here, Tosh has his own language.
He does have his own language. He does. So he actually likes to say Zom a lot. So Zom is kind of just like, you know, his defensive term for like, you know, like boomstick or like hit stick or something like that. You know, when he says Zom, that's how you know it's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's a good day.
So how long does it take to learn Tosh?
How long is it? That's a good question. I'll probably have to say cool 5 minutes. You gonna know who he is. Yeah, you gonna know who he is. You always gonna come with that heated up energy.
But the terminology and his own deal, that's a quick learn, or is that complicated, or?
Well, it's not complicated. He just, you know, he's a funny dude. You know what I'm saying? You can talk to him about anything. So, yeah. And in the first 5 minutes, you're gonna know what type of guy he is.
What is Jamal brought? I know he's kind of doing a little bit of both, but more at the back at the moment. What's he brought that much closer to the line of scrimmage and in between the tackles for you guys?
I think he's brought a lot of, you know, DB knowledge to the room as well. You know, he's still learning, still has room to improve, but I think he's doing a great job so far. Man, huge shout out to that dude. I think it's going to be real good.
Jeffrey Bossa. Jamal Hill is the guy who's talking about, who is playing a couple different spots now in this Duck defense. Look, every offseason there's going to be that evaluation period of like, all right, how does the entire defense get better? And then there's the evaluation period of, okay, what does each player need to do to get better, and where do those things meet together and fit? And this might be one example where if Jamal Hill can play a couple different spots for the Ducks, that's experience, a veteran, bringing a defensive back type of approach to a linebacker room. Hey, you got to cover guys in the linebacker room too, don't you? I thought that was interesting for Jeff Bossa to say that. And I want to say it again. I think that Jeffrey Bossa is going to end up being a real leader of this defense. I just really like his approach. He was a safety coming in, has moved to inside linebacker, and has done really well there. I like what Oregon's defense, I think, brings to the table. And remember, on Tuesday, Dan Lanning said he really likes the depth at DB, and he really likes the depth on the D-line. You know, maybe if the Ducks just – I'm just saying in the spring, it sure looks like there's a lot of pieces to have this defense take another step forward next year. And that's a 10-win team last year where we're talking about taking another step forward. That's the goal anyway. Duck Insiders always brought to you by our friends at Hoodoo. These winter storms that we've been getting, our friends at Hoodoo have been thrilled. Skiers, snowboarders. Even if you're just Jerry Allen, you want to go sit in a cabin. You can do that. When we come back, some updates on Oregon women's golf, a check-in on softball, and one final preview of tonight's rivalry baseball game against Oregon State. Ducks Beavs coming up 7 o'clock tonight on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon women's golf, they closed out the regular season in a tie for 6th place at the Silverado Showdown on Wednesday at Silverado Resort and Spa. The number 8 Ducks, number 8 in the country, shot a 16 over 304 in the final round to finish the week at 32 over, tied with number 9 Arizona State for 6. Number 16 Northwestern won the team title at 9 over par. Nobody was shooting all that well in this tournament, and the Ducks finished tied for 6. Now Oregon preparing for postseason play, which begins on April 17th with the Pac-12 Championships in Phoenix, Arizona. Monica Vaughn, the Oregon women's golf assistant coach, she is set to chat with us on Monday ahead of the Pac-12 Championships. Oregon women's golf, the season continues. Oregon softball, they're in action right now if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Move the game up from 6 o'clock due to weather. Still scheduled for 6 o'clock tomorrow. We'll recap that game tomorrow. Also recapping baseball. Ducks and Beavers tonight, 7 o'clock. See you at PK Park.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.